Trundle ban, it has been the go-to of the PCS junglers and makes me question what would be the second best thing. Trundle was banned earlier in the second game, and that would possibly, teams are comfortable leaving any of the power farming junglers, which, perhaps maybe even the Olaf, maybe even that Graves, which was open earlier. Nova, in the meantime, is gonna respect ban the Fiddlesticks of Moonblack.
All right, Moonblack not going to get spooky in the mid lane as the Fiddlesticks is going to be banned out, which, okay, I'm a little disappointed. I like seeing the Fiddle. He did get a little bit, got like tweaked when it came to patch 10.13. He's still a pretty big monster, so actually, yeah, he didn't actually receive any changes, so I think it's not until 10.14 where he actually gets a lot of decent rollback here. Interesting enough, Syndra going to get banned out here by Hong Kong Attitude, respecting to what we saw Golden Feet as well as G4 can play in that mid lane, as well as the Nidalee ban targeted toward Ryan. So my question is, do we get to see the Kalista ban finally come out against Rocky, or is Nova going to use that as a flex?
Yeah, blue side, Nova once again, so they can rinse and repeat what they've done against Liab earlier, which is just first pick the Kalista. You know what? Never mind, but this opens up the Graves.
Yeah, easily could go ahead for that Graves as that first lock-in, considering the Trundle's been taken away too. Means Ryan could easily go ahead and get something that he's comfortable on, and that is going to be the case as he gets locked in first for Nova.
Yeah, there's a lot of two birds in one stone kind of bans. You take out that Syndra, you take out that Kalista too. Meanwhile, for HKA, what has been working for them so far? Aside from Moonblack's very interesting picks in the mid lane, which has been taken out, we did see, Karthus also play the lane matchup, but Aphelios is open for the taking.
All right, so Aphelios is going to get locked in for Eminem down in that bot lane, so they'll have that available. He's had himself some decent performances when it comes to his Aphelios, so not a bad pickup, to say the least, here for Hong Kong Attitude. Still a very annoying champion to deal with once he hits that 3-item spike. Speaking of annoyances, possibly looking at this Zoe getting picked up in the mid lane for Moonblack.
There's a couple of Zoes that worked out pretty well when it came to the round robin. Uniboy was the first thing that came into my mind. Makes me wonder how Moonblack is going to fare, especially, we did say, one of the weaknesses that Nova can take advantage of is constantly pressuring mid lane, which, you have a solid jungler already. What do you want to pair that with in terms of full aggression? We've seen G4 play something like a Sylas before, like Varus is open actually, so Golden Feet can take that in. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the Varus has been banned away. For Golden Feet, though, I believe this is going to be his first appearance on the champion. So we get to see how he's going to be able to perform with that pickup as it gets locked in. Maybe a nice little present being snuck in there by HKA when it came to the bans. Instead opting to ban out that Kalista, they felt it was a little bit more of a nuisance. And speaking of just annoying bot lanes, you got the Wombo Combo CC in the form of a Varus, as well as now the Leona getting locked in.
I'm absolutely afraid of Eminem in the bottom side of the map, and you add the fact that Ryan is on that Grave, so you will not lack the damage to push through. You will not lack the CC to just try to heavy dive or heavy engage on that Aphelios. So I'm wondering what HKA will want to put on tack just to make that lane a little bit safer.
Also means here for Nova, they can decide if they want to try and ban out some of the, S tiers when it comes to the marksman role, as that's still not been locked. Oh, actually, I'm crazy. The Aphelios is already locked in. They can start looking to ban out possibly some of the support, maybe even that mid lane too, as the mid has already been locked in. I almost want to see something like a Galio come out on the side of Nova for G4, have something that can answer some heavy dive or even enable some dives, especially when you're going up against an Aphelios where you've already locked in a Varus and a Leona.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, considering the fact that I think there will be too much air quote damage coming from Nova if they do decide to put G4 on another. They do want to get that utility at least. If you do have that Galio, you have a little bit of magic damage early that's really incredibly painful, that can chunk a huge amount onto the squishies of HKA. Works well too, especially again Rocky, I assume will come again either on the Bruiser or on another carry, which, we saw Kartis play the Lucian before, so I am excited to see the Rocky Kartis match up at topside.
We're already seeing, though, HKA, they have a feeling, you know, we're going to get rid of some of that dive that could be potentially locked in for G4, getting rid of that set, as well as now that Twisted Fate that can always Destiny in, so that's going to be off the table, not available for the side of Nova. And final ban for Nova, alongside the Jace they already banned out, it's going to be the Thresh being targeted toward Tak.
Yuumi is actually open for the taking. It's actually very safe. We've seen a couple of, you know, dead cats in the bottom side of the map that's quite vulnerable, but it might work well with Olaf, but that hover just means, you know, added protection, at least that disengage available in the form of that Braum ult, and it works out.
All right, so again, having that Braum, if you want to try and use it to try and disengage any dive that will come out from Nova, might be the case with the Fisher. Does mean, though, HK as well have themselves a counter pick lined up for that top lane, so Rocky this time around could go in something like a Wukong, something that's not going to be a weak side top lane. Wants to go ahead and lock that in for the squad of Nova.
What if? I'm kidding. I was thinking Wukong G4 in the mid lane. I mean,
I'd call you a little bit of a troll, but I've seen crazier. G4 though, all right, give me something that requires him to be aggressive. Make it so he has to roam. I like it. Likely looking at this LeBlanc as the answer to the Zoe in mid lane.
That's definitely going to be one of those things where just G4 has to be careful with his distortions not to eat a perfectly timed trouble bubble. We've seen that before, and it has cost some games, but the early game is definitely going to be very key for Nova. This is absolutely destructive early to mid. If they get ahead, HKA will most likely unable to recover, considering there's so many answers for this Aphelios.
And with that Renekton getting locked in, it screams now that Kartis says, all right, you know what? I want to try and go toe-to-toe with this Wukong. I'm not going to fall back on something like the Malphite, which we've been seeing a lot of teams, especially globally, try and use as an answer to the Wukong, at least in lane, to neutralize him. But then I find it still kind of lackluster when it comes to the team fight. So for Nova, getting themselves a little bit of a change-up when it comes to their play style. We get to see G4 on his LeBlanc once again. We finally get to see a Vars that made it through bans as that's getting locked in for cold defeat. And I'm interested, are they going to try and go for heavy dives down in this bot lane? Because you look at this team comp, you don't see a whole lot of tank. You're going to see a Wukong. That's going to be kind of a pseudo-tank trying to soak up damage with a clone. That's pretty much it, other than, of course, that Leona.
Yeah, they're definitely going to try to bank on getting these solo laners ahead, especially in the form of G4, and as well as getting optimal ganks from Ryan as well, and getting that Graves ahead. So I'm excited. Nova has definitely switched up their style a little bit, and HKA definitely has been, you know, this is pretty standard for now.
Yeah, we'll see here as we're going to go ahead, load on into the Rift for our third game of the night. Nova looking to go 2-0 to start off their Week 3. HKA, like I mentioned, trying to widen that gap between the mid-pack teams that separate them from the rest of the leaderboard as we head into the Rift. I like how the red camera, like the red base camera, they already had left the building. It was just kind of this empty base now. HK is like, we got to move. We got to get ourselves that line of scrimmage, literally line of scrimmage, on the river. No one going for invades. Just want to make sure everybody is where they are, lined up, ready to go. Yeah. I find it so interesting that G4 is just going to go ahead and get a ward down. He knows where that is. Moonblack, though. Okay. Gotta be careful himself. May have to flash
Ignite?
to safety. No Ignite. What's G4 doing? He has Ignite!
He has! Exactly. I was waiting for it.
Is he actually going to try and do this?
Distortion? Nope. It's too risky,
okay.
yeah.
So the one thing you have to realize, though, is Moonblack does likely have, I think he has Time Warp Tonic, because you did see that just chunk of HP that came back when he had the Corrupting Pot. So Maybe smart as G4 to hold on to the Ignite, but not bad coming out from Nova. Already getting some pressure there on Moonblack at early level 1.
Yeah, not bad too. We'll be late to the lane. At least, I mean, you don't get a kill. At least you still have that advantage when you come to the lane. You're going to get, you know, your level 2s quite earlier than Moonblack. So I guess it works out still as a consolation prize. I'm just quite unfortunate. That first blood would have really helped this LeBlanc in the lane.
You know what? He's going to hold on to that Ignite. He's going to try and, you know, use that maybe some other time here as, you know, may not be the first blood they were thinking in their mind. Still some pressure. Not bad. Would like to see, though, G4 get himself unlocked from this mid lane so he can try and go for some roams, as both junglers are going to go ahead. It looks like it's going to be full clears of their blue side jungle.
G4 actually chunked to a decent amount, forced to get at least one stack off of that corrupting pot. In the meantime, though, yep, pretty standard as the war just expired, as they've already spotted out Holo. Ryan making his way towards top side, actually.
Look at this. Holo's kind of done a little bit of a slow bait here. He's going to come around the side. Does Ryan actually find this? He's going to see that the red buff is now being taken. Going to come on over towards the side. Steals it away from Holo, and that is a nice takeaway here by Ryan.
The thing was, HKA knew that the ward was there. They saw G4 make his way towards Raptor, and still hoping that pulling the red buff on towards his side would have stopped Ryan. Maybe think Ryan would probably back away, but nope. Really, our job well done coming from Nova.
Doesn't mean, though, Ryan's going to give up scuttle pressure on the bot side of the map as Holo pathed his way over, so I'm not going to be able to really contest toward this Dragon Pit right away. Still, though, pretty early on. We'll see whether or not Holo at least tries to answer with a early Dragon take of his own. Actually going to go for an invade, but guess what? Ryan's already cleared out this side of the jungle, so Holo can't really get much.
Yeah, absolutely, and I feel like, you know, this first 4 minutes more or less of this game, Nova definitely did a good job. Will this setup, though, work towards ganking at least perhaps that bottom side of the map, as they're a little bit extended? Problem is there's a lot of vision going towards that river, so not a lot of setup. Perhaps if they're a little bit more extended and Pop is able to initiate with a Zenith Blade.
Yeah, Pop is looking to get some fights going around that level 6. They do have to deal with the fact there is a cleanse, though, on M&M, but they are running that Ignite. There's also, it looks like it's going to be... Yeah, Rocky right now, he likes getting aggressive. We should note this. This is just, you know, prime location for Rocky. You know, 300, 400 health. He wants to bait in Cardis. Says, all right, come on, let's see if you're whether or not going to be able to. That's actually Rocky going back to base right after a teleport. That's unfortunate. So nice play here by Cardis early in lane.
Yeah, I'm assuming what went is a very unfortunate trade, as Cardis, especially on the Renekton, come level 3. Absolute, just trying to poke and go back in a safe distance. Ryan, though, that's actually 2 Raptors, actually stealing Holo. He never got Raptor. He only got 1, at least, I believe.
So
but, yeah.
I'm digging that Ryan's being decently aggressive and onto Holo. Even though he is going up against an Olaf, it can be a little bit scary. Meanwhile, bot lane there, you go. Blade going to land into the hail of arrows, but still not enough damage really coming through. M&M. Ooh, nice piercing arrow, though, comes out from Colton Feet, so he makes that trade worthwhile. As looks like he's also running Meteor, so this might be just looking to be a lethality Varus for the meantime. Just trying to get a lot of pressure in lane and just trying to burst down M&M.
Yeah, definitely having to get that poke, have a little bit more value, and possibly once you're in range of, in a dangerous amount of HP for M&M, then that's the go signal for Pop to go in. But just as you mentioned, it's a problem if that flash and cleanse is still going to be available. There's a lot of combat options, defense options rather, when it comes to Nova's aggressive bot lane. In the meantime, though, it is for HKA, this is the game that they desire to play, but for G4, especially come level 6, he will try to find a couple of picks here and there to make this LeBlanc pick worthwhile.
Well, that's the thing. We hope he's able to. We have noted that G4 can be a bit passive when it comes to his play. Level 6 has been hit for Rocky. That's one thing we do mention a lot, though, when it comes to Nova, is this team usually lives or dies by the performance of Rocky. And If he's not able to get a bunch of resources thrown at him, like the fact that Ryan still hasn't made an appearance and Cardis is, you know, doing decently well into this matchup, he hasn't fallen behind, might be a little bit of a concern because usually Rocky needs to find himself, you know, 20, 30 CS up as well as maybe a kill, so he can just be a side lane god and no one can answer it.
Yeah, I feel like the dynamic is going to change a little bit with G4 not on Oriana duty, now on LeBlanc duty, and Rocky a little bit more of that team fight menace for setting up. Oh, Ryan is actually diving in.
Oh, I don't think he realized they were actually taking it. It's collateral damage, not going to be able to secure the Drake as that gets taken here by HKA to open things up in their game.
Yeah, he had flash, he had that dash, so no worries. No collateral damage though, but I don't think Nova will be needing that anytime soon as the rest of the squad is just trying to farm up, trying to feel safe, as Nova will continue to sort of dominate that, you know, bot lane 2v2. So I think the problem is once Holo gets that level 6, if he desires to relieve pressure for bot lane, he can make a visit down at bot since Nova's top side is actually a little bit extended and as well as mid lane.
You still see there G4, he's trying to get aggressive up against Moon Black, but the Zoe just doing fine here, it would seem. Blue buff, though, is going to go on to the LeBlanc, so going to just try and go for that endless harass. As meanwhile, let's see, Ryan is going to spot out this ward. Does see now that Scuttle's being taken. Cardis, unfortunately, won't be able to secure it himself. Forced to flash away as the chain landed from G4, so nicely done here. He's going to be able to get that summoner off the Renekton.
Perfect timing. I was a little bit worried because the Bloom actually didn't hit the perfect angle to spot out Cardis, but because G4 was going back to his own lane, he gets spotted out. In the meantime, though, for Nova, everybody is pretty much level 6 except for the supports. Now they're making their way towards Rift Herald, which, you know, bot lane tried to rotate. Not needed, it seems, as HKA will just give this away and concede.
Alright, you already see that Colton Fiend made his way on over. G4 got ignited as Moon Black was trying to get aggressive. Pop also nearby. Still waiting on that level 6 for the Leona, though. As the roam's coming out early from Pop. Of, you know, the CS is a little bit low. Meanwhile, though, this bot lane, the changes that did come out for Aphelios still did not actually, you know, affect how he can take towers. His tower take is still ridiculous as Rocky goes to the lane swap, just clearing out the wave.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that exchange can be done because, you know, Eminem getting a couple of plates quite freely without threat whatsoever.
They got rift.
Big difference though. Yeah, 3 people under that tower getting a bit of plates.
That's a very aggressive play coming out. Solar Flare combo going to come on through. That's first blood. Going on over to the support. Maybe wanted to give that one over to Golden Feet. Meanwhile, though, Rift Herald is also going to be popped. We'll see, though. Holo wants to try and do what he can to try and deny this, or at least try and get some pressure back onto Golden Feet. Turret, though, should fall here. Bot lane not getting pushed in at all on the side of Hong Kong Attitude. And first break gold going to go on over to this Varus and Co.
I think that's pretty worth still for Holo to stick around, able to at least deny any sort of potential second charges. In the meantime, for HKA, unfortunately, they're not able to get first prick gold. They did manage to try and exchange at least from top to bot. Let's take a look at that again, because I feel like Cardis wanted to bait, because, you know, Holo was making his way towards top side already.
Unfortunately there too, this is just kind of the combo that's going to come out from this bot lane. It's pretty disgusting. Pair that alongside the damage of the Graves. Should be able to take down any target they please. Did mean, though, that Eminem was able to solo farm those turrets alongside Tak on the Braum, which means this Aphelios already has the advantage at 10.5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely, in comparison to 3 players actually at top side getting the share of gold on towards that tower plating. But Ryan is constantly stealing all of these camps away from Holo, which makes things a little bit difficult, and there's not a lot of punish. They have to rely on either Moonblack for that bubble, but any sort of reliable hard CC from a distance is not to be found in HKA's composition.
Yeah, you saw there, HKA, they were kind of roaming down, hoping to catch out Ryan on the invade. I'll give it to Holo, though. Even though he's been invaded upon so much, he's actually kept himself rather even when it comes to farm. Not falling really far behind, and has that completed Cinderhulk. It's not end of the world, but Still going to be a little bit before this Olaf is able to, become that frontline nuisance that everyone's going to just have a hassle dealing with. I think we're just kind of waiting to see whether or not these team fights, if Nova are going to be kind of coordinated, if they're going to try and go for, these picks before the team fights happen. I think we're just going back into a bit of a waiting game. The Nova waiting game, it would seem.
Yeah, the Nova waiting game, and unfortunately G4 was kept on a tight leash for so long by Moonblack, so any of the roams are not available, and considering Moonblack has been following his tail for so long, so it's definitely quite difficult for G4's presence to be felt in the side lanes. But good thing though, Ryan is sort of, carrying when it comes to getting that side lane pressure, at least even without G4.
Over the wall, here we go. It's going to be Ryan stealing away the Cloud Soul, able to find it. Solar Flare going to come out. Still not enough damage, and Pop goes. He gets taken on down. Moonblack is able to find the kill. So in the end, it's going to be the Dragon take in favor of Nova, but they do lose their support, so that gets HKA on the board for kills.
I think that's still pretty worth a support for a Dragon on that Cloud Drake. And as well as, unfortunately, Holo was blinded by the smoke. And at the same time, Pop was in the middle of it all, so I guess that is pretty worth using the collateral damage to go to safety.
And there we go. On top of this too, because Moonblack has been able to just kind of keep track of where G4 has been going around the map, we haven't really seen this LeBlanc really impact the side lane. It's been more or less just the farm game coming out from Cold Feet and that one dive they were able to find, but unfortunately too, he rushed his Sword Boots immediately, so he actually stalled out his Ludens, so they didn't even have that for that fight.
Yeah, it's the constant pressure of Moonblack. I think after that really cheeky attack on Moonblack in the mid lane at the first 2 minutes of the game, afterwards it was Moonblack free reigning against G4, always pushed and shoved towards his own tower. So I feel like that's the primary reason why G4 always having to go back to the lane and possibly only forced to get that Sword Boots first to maximize that forced back.
You did see there, Golden Feet able to get him a little bit of damage there alongside Ryan. For now, though, turret plates extra 2 in favor of HKA with the 7 on their side, 5 to Nova. And you know what, Riku? I'm starting to feel some deja vu, some slow playing Nova. And it makes me scared, because this is very much a composition where they should not be slow playing.
Yeah, I mean, we did mention that Nova has never won a game beyond the 30-minute mark. And based from the pace that they're going, I don't think they can finish games anything before the 30-minute mark. And for HKA, they are willing to go the slow run, considering that they have Eminem here on the Aphelios. And if G4 doesn't get ahead, that means there is no answer to the Aphelios. And it will rely on rocky setups for that flank, which for HKA, I don't think they have a huge problem when it comes to the vision control. But at the same time, HKA already making their way towards this Rift Herald.
And unfortunately, you take a look at the ward placement. There is that one ward in the bush. We'll see whether or not Rocky actually wants to go for it. Seems to be the play. Pop jumps on in, gets onto the back line. Solar Flare goes in immediately into the Cyclone. And there's your damage. Still not able to take down Hollow, but you do see HKA have to abandon ship. Meanwhile, though, Rift Herald says, I'll do the same, and ends up resetting. So unfortunately for Nova, they can't turn back and try and go for this immediately.
That's the unfortunate thing. As G4?
Oh, G4. I think he messed up his second distortion. That's one he's going to want back. As that's an oof and a half. So in the end, it is actually no kills going in favor of... they were able to pick up the 1 kill in the end, but overall, a bit of a rough one here for HKA. All 4 members were jumped in, and this is just the Wombo, though, come out of this competition.
Yeah, that knockup actually managed to get Eminem at least, and Polo still survived after all this. Eminem still wanted to go for more, but the fact that Ryan and G4 are still healthy, and you will be in range of a 1 combo against the LeBlanc kill, so it is still a little bit risky to go for it, and HKA will be happy just shifting towards that third Drake of the game and hopefully get more dragons in their Eternal, especially its Infernal.
There you go, Infernal now in 50 seconds on the side of HKA. Able to get some prio there in the mid lane, but still it's just going to get cleared out immediately by Nova. Still a little bit early for that reset. Still see though, Chain is going to land from G4, just taking a little bit of damage. G4 now has his Ludens though, so I want to see this LeBlanc start, you know, popping some Aphelioses and pick off a quick Zoe kill. Because he really needs to find a good flank onto the back line of HKA, or else we're going to see kind of symptoms that we saw of, you know, Candy's LeBlanc, or if he's not able to find a big pick, it's not able to do a whole lot. That's a lot of engage being used here on the side of Nova. Still though, no one will fall on the side of HKA.
Yeah, unfortunately the chain landed on, the ethereal chains landed on attack instead of Moonblack. Hardest ready for the flank setup. Rocky's gonna be fine though, as Nova is still lingering around this area in the mid lane, trying to set up the waves first before anything else.
I see G4 there, just ate a paddle star to the face, so a little not the way you want to play it, but Infernal has spawned. And you do see Nova not quitting when it comes to the pressure that's being shown here by HKA. G4 wants to try and get that damage, wants to try and get that quick kill onto the Braum. You do see Chain comes out, able to get the lockdown on Hollow, but still 5 members of HKA defending this Braum. Quick jump in from G4, but no, not going to get stolen away as Moonblack is able to secure it with a paddle star.
Yeah, G4 hoping to get at least a kill on towards TAC, but because of Nova's... Actually, you know what? It was still pretty worth as HKA is decided to concede, as it might be a potential 4v5 that Nova might start, as they do have a lot of options still without the Solar Flare. They can still engage with the Zenith Blade. In the meantime, for Nova, they're going to be pretty happy with that, with 2 dragons in their pockets.
Saw there on the side of HKA, they said, all right, Nova's pretty persistent on trying to get this Infernal. Not the end of the world if we give it on over. Still though, good to see that Nova are not backing down. They're not going into a super passive playstyle that we have sometimes seen the team fall back to when games are even at this point. Instead, not afraid to go toe-to-toe against HKA, and you saw little glimpses of what G4 needs to do in these setups to the fight, where you need to get some damage onto a member of HKA, force them to decide, hey, are we going to try and fight this in a 4v5 and risk just getting wiped?
Yeah, and when we look at the composition of Nova, they have a lot of air quote finishers. You've got the collateral damage, you have the full combo from the LeBlanc, you do have at least that Q, especially coming from Cold and Feet on the Varus with this lethality build. So it all works out pretty well as long as HK does not press that go button, which I don't think they have. The only go button that they have is Hollow's Ragnarok, and pretty much everybody else is going to be relying on either their skill shots and positioning. And of course, having to rely on Kartis as well with his flank positioning, which I think Nova so far, I don't think there's a lot of vision deep inside their own jungle for that setup, so they're still pretty good in that aspect.
Yeah, the go button is kind of a counter go button, if anything. It's pretty much, they have a fissure from the Braum that's going to be used to try and disengage or re-engage onto a fight. It's kind of similar, like Moonblack has a very similar job to G4 in which he needs to find a good bubble onto a target before a fight starts. And it's going to come down to, you know, can the mid laners of either side find a squishy member, try and burst them down before a fight happens, and then take that advantage going into an objective fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and I feel like that is who gets to do that first. And so far, you know, we've got Moonblack getting 1 kill at least.
Kartis got 2 members down here in the bot lane trying to kill him. Double knock up from the Cyclone, still not going to be enough to take down the Renekton. But with that much pressure, Rocky will finally be able to take down a first-tier tower. And there he goes, gets taken out. Second one of the game for Nova. And gets them about a 2,000 gold lead here. 2.5 minutes until our next dragon spawns.
2k gold lead for the side of Nova. They'll be pretty happy about that. Things are calm, things are more stable, and a little bit more organized in comparison to the previous games, and where Nova will get ahead, but come mid-game, come the 20-minute mark, around that, sort of a little bit scattered, will get picked off around the side lanes. So far it hasn't happened, since for HKA, I feel like in terms of punish options, there's not exactly a lot. And HKA is, you know, very happy to take things slow instead.
Yeah, you saw HK, they're a little too comfortable. Talk with dancing underneath the tower as Brom. You know, he's just having some fun here. No more fun, though, it seems, on the side of Nova, as they're now starting to threaten, again, getting some vision around this Baron. Be frank, though, they don't have necessarily the fastest take of Baron. You are going lethality Varus, but you do have a Graves to at least make up a little bit of that damage. Not nearly as fast, though, as like what Eminem could do. Which, speaking of Eminem, now on to his second item completed. Runan's online, so this Aphelios team fights. He's going to start being able to do a ton of damage if he's left unchecked by the side of Nova, as again, Rocky's still trying to split push in this bot lane.
Well, I was gonna say there's a flanking ward available for Rocky as he has teleport, but that's gonna get taken out. Rift Herald gonna be unleashed the last second before it expires. There's a lot of at least value, at least when it comes to at least chunking down that mid. Unfortunately, HKA is around to try and destroy that before anything else, before the mid lane falls.
You know what? I'm starting to feel a little bit of the old vibes of HKA back at the start of spring, you know, where this team's like, all right, we'll play for 40 minutes. We don't care. We'll play for 40 minutes. We'll beat you in a team fight. That's kind of the mentality I'm starting to see here from this squad, which they always looked good when they tried to be aggressive so far here in summer, but have now had to rely solely on Eminem to carry these later game team fights the way this is going.
I think it's great that, you know, HKA has at least some sort of eeny, meeny, miny, mo when it comes to, you know, the dynamics and team identity and as well as approach. Where Nova, again, has never won a game beyond 30 minutes. If HKA plays the slow game, it's definitely going towards their favor. G4 chunked a lot.
And you mentioned
Not
here,
good.
if the mid laner from either squad can chunk out a squishy member, that will likely be the go signal to try and go for an objective pop, though. He has become one with the Drake, just instantly walking toward the face of HKA. Nice chain of corruption does come out, not able to take down any damage, but that is going to be secured by Nova, as they are now looking at Infernal Soul Point.
Nicely done by Nova. And we did mention there's quite a difficult point on where how can you punish, how can you start a fight, because it's quite difficult right now in the composition that they have. And we did mention that Ragnarok is their only go button, possibly attack with a Fisher for that setup, but anything else, you're gonna put Eminem and Moon Black in danger of range of possibly G4, a poke coming from Golden Feet, maybe even a good Cyclone setup from Rocky. And that's the reason why they look very helpless when it comes to getting those objectives, fighting as airco 5v5. And for Nova, they'll be happy about that. Moon Black, unfortunately, is not able to get a pick, and no hesitation.
And you saw G4 popping off the Ignite there, saying, all right, Moon Black, I really want to kill you. Ryan has that collateral damage, ends up fanning the shot, as it's going to go between the goalposts, as it were. Unfortunately, not able to land in onto his target of Moon Black. Zoe's still about half health, so still available for this ensuing fight. Again, though, I really just see that HK, they're like, as long as this game keeps going and we don't give up Soul Point, we have an Aphelios. And Aphelios will keep scaling.
And for that, Nova may run out of time eventually if they don't primarily get Eminem at the first, you know, exchange of spells in a fight. So that's what I'm worried about as the game progresses for Nova. And for HKA, they will definitely be a little bit more confident, especially they're falling back to the old HKA playstyle of winning around the 35 to 40 minute mark of the game.
Yeah, because Golden Feet here is soon going to have his third lethality item, and that's kind of where that Varus feels really good. Now I think that might be the period where Nova's like, all right, we can try and force this last dragon, try and take Infernal, and then we'll have a bunch of poke, a lot of easy damage that comes out from the LeBlanc combo, just distorting in and getting that Sigil down, as well as the piercing arrow damage that'll come out from the likes of, say, Golden Feet. G4 wants to get aggressive, in comes the teleport from Rocky on the Wukong. You know what's going to happen. He gets knocked up immediately. Cyclone is there, but Eminem still has not been taken down. Hollow able to get himself to safety, but not out of range of Riot's collateral damage. Two members of HKA fall, and the Baron in the eyes of Nova.
No jungler, no mid laner for HKA. No casualties whatsoever in the side of Nova. They're still pretty healthy. Looking at HKA though, they're still lingering around this corner. There's a teleport.
Teleport is going to come out from Cardis, going to try and stop this. It's a 4v3. Baron, though, is technically on the side of the team flanking in. Rocky tries to jump in. A decent amount of damage comes out from G4. Rocky gets taken down, but Eminem will fall. Shutdown goes on over to the side of Golden Feet. Chain is going to land. Cardis goes golden, but he'll go straight into the ground for a triple kill on Golden Feet.
Golden Feet with the triple kill, and that's a bunch of death timers on screen for HKA, which means this leaves room for Nova to push the side lanes a little bit more. They don't have that Baron, unfortunately. I believe that's at least mission accomplished for HKA. This is such a scattered fight. We did mention that setup at least for that vision, for that flanking ward, and it worked out so well for that Cyclone setup. And because of that, you know, HKA was pretty much scattered. Moonblack was vulnerable. Unfortunately, Holo is too. But for HKA, I think it's at least something that they have prevented this Baron kick, or else it might go even more terribly if they did get it.
But now it's going to spike the gold in on Golden Feet to allow him to land onto that 3 lethality item breakpoint, which good to have now for the ensuing dragon fight that now will take place. And for Nova, I think if you're a Nova fan right now, you're pretty happy this team just hasn't thrown away this lead or thrown away anything when it comes to an objective fight. This is looking decently all right. I was a little bit hesitant. We haven't seen G4, you know, getting as much pressure as I'd like to see, but still, team is finding advantages where they need to, and now Infernal starting up in 30 seconds.
G4 was 0-0-0 at the 25-minute mark, I believe. Around 20 minutes. And now he's 0-0-5. And it's still panning out pretty well. But if you will suffer from that later on, which is a little bit risky, as 10 seconds on the clock already for the next dragon to spawn for that Infernal Soul, with no teleport on the LeBlanc too.
Ooh.
That means HKA has control over the dragon.
Yeah, G4, that's a pretty awful back timing, as that can easily get started up here by HKA. Look though, Rocky and Pop looking for a flank. That's a lone Leona just kind of walking in through the river. Rocky does get tagged there by the bubble. G4 though,
oh my,
nearby onto the pit. Ryan goes over the wall. Here goes 50-50, and it gets secured by Nova. Turn up the heat as they're able to secure the soul point, and now look to hunt down the remaining members of HKA. Eminem, though, on the Aphelios, steps forward, finds
Eminem?
one kill, able to turn it on back, and Moonblack and Eminem, the carries for HKA, are able to hold their ground.
Okay, Infernal Soul secured at least for the side of Nova. That's something. But now they have to be a little bit worried with their target priority, because all the while this was happening, Moonblack, Eminem, absolutely untouched. And if given the chance, Eminem could easily shred through everybody else. If it could have gone possibly worse for Nova at this point.
Could have gone a lot worse for Nova, but they do secure Infernal Soul, which makes the task for G4 trying to poke down squishy members of HKA a lot easier. A simple Q from this LeBlanc can take a third of the health bar of this Zoe or this Aphelios, which now means that HKA have to be careful. We also mentioned Golden Feet has his third lethality item. Edge of Night gives him a little bit of safety. This is the prime opportunity for Nova to start looking toward closing this game or expanding this gold lead out of control and preventing HKA from catching up.
Yeah, Nova has been doing a great job as Red Buff. I was distracted a little bit. That was the second time resetting. Yeah, Nova has been doing an amazing job in these fights. And the only reason why I'm worried now, if they don't close around when the Elder Dragon spawns, then they could be at risk of a possible steal. They could be at risk of HKA winning a very crucial team fight, where death timers are going to be incredibly long, where HKA can just sort of storm throughout the base. And, you know, I don't want to think of that, especially Nova coming from a win against Liab, HKA winning against the champions of the MSS and as well as the PCS Spring from last week. So this is an absolutely massive win for Nova.
And you can see
if they
here,
do get it.
Rocky's just kind of diving in on tower, just getting a little bit of damage. And if I'm Nova right now, I would love to see a fight. I would have loved to see them actually try and rush Baron 30 seconds ago. Cardis actually did not have teleport until just now. And that would have actually been a teleport advantage in favor of Nova if they decided to go for this Baron. And we're starting to see a little bit of the side effect. I'm happy Rocky is pushing a side lane. That's what he should be doing. I don't like, though, G4 trying to do the exact same thing, and now you have these 3 members of Nova. They're just trying to scout around, and ooh, Holo, gotta be careful to spot out G4. Instantly, though, G4 goes back with the distortion.
Yeah, Edge of Night and as well as that Banshees will protect, you know, protect Nova a little bit against any potential trouble bubbles that would turn things around when it comes to dancing around the objectives, especially Baron. But yeah, based on what they're doing right now, Rocky, Cardis both have teleports at the moment. We'll have to see who will get the pick first, because I feel like that's the biggest question.
Oh, Moonblack gets himself taken down pretty low, but will survive. Is taken away to Ignite. Still not enough damage. Attack engine actually ended up using the Fissure, forcing Ryan to have to flash back to safety. Looking for HKA, they do not lose a member, and that is rather crucial. If you lose out on this Zoe, you lose a lot of just this seeking damage that'll come out of the Pal Star. It doesn't matter though, Nova, they say, you know what, it's almost pretty much a kill at this point, and it can go ahead and start shredding down this Baron. G4, force a flash away, distortion is still available, ends up getting the chain though onto Holo, and might be able to finish off this Olaf.
So
Holo
low.
needs to find a miracle play, but guess what, there's no blast cone, there's no flash, there's no way into the pit, and Baron goes in favor of Nova. Teleport coming out from Cardis, but if you're on the side of HKA,
Whoa.
you still got that
Moonblack.
bloody 200 years. Moonblack getting aggressive. He gets put down, though, by Golden Feet.
We've seen that play before. It's still not over, as Nova will probably back away already. So that is going to be 1 death in exchange of 2 for HKA, and they do get the Baron. Golden Feet in a very awkward angle.
Oh, he'll get himself back to safety. We are still seeing, though, it's now Baron available for the side of Nova. That Infernal Soul doing decent damage with just little bits of damage being poked out here by G4. Rocky in the top lane. Let's go ahead and take a look back. It looks a little bit concerning, but Polo, he doesn't have Flash available. There's no Blast Cone. There's no way for him to get into the pit.
Yeah, and I think he was trying to maybe send an axe flying towards the Baron for a steal, but unfortunately, that will not be the case. Again, G4 did a phenomenal job pressuring Holo at the beginning just to burn out that flash. And Moonblack, we've seen this before where things can get desperate, things can be just high pressure at a certain team fight, and that's what we've seen where Moonblack just try to desperately get a pick and lessen the members of who has that Baron buff.
So there you go, 12-6. A 7,000 gold lead for Nova, as well as Baron available. Also, some good poke coming out from this Varus. This Golden Feet's looking to land some damage. You also have, you know, built-in damage from bloody smoke screen now because of the Infernal Soul. So, for the side of Nova, we'll see now if they can close out this game and able to secure themselves victory up against Hong Kong Attitude. Hong Kong Attitude, again, relentless, not looking to slow down, but that's a decent amount of damage. Eminem forced a flash away. Solo player is going to land onto the backside. That is going to be Braum getting taken down low, and Tak gets taken out by Leona. Rocky able to get on top of Eminem, and G4 able to find the target. As there you go, Nova can look to start opening up the base. They take down Cardis. They got minions in mid lane, and Moonblack has to start running.
That's a lot of death timers on the side of HKA. Nova completely healthy, has Baron buff, and Moonblack just has to watch this all fall apart in front of him.
And it looks like Nova, they heard the predictions of the English caster team, and they said, oh, we don't mess with those haters. That's an easy game for them, going 2-0 on day 1 of week 3 as they take down Hong Kong Attitude.
What a massive win for Nova. They started week 3 with just 1 win, defeated Liab, defeated HKA just now after HK, you know, Hong Kong Attitude coming from a win against the Spring and MSS champions. I think that's absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, for Nova. We got to finally see a different play style. They showed hints of it, though. They were still like a little slow, you know. There's a little bit of G4 split pushing, but they're able to clean it up and pull it all back together and take home the victory over HKA on a composition where they needed to be the ones making plays and forcing the pressing the issue, trying to make this game happen, and they're able to succeed.
I mean, we were a little bit worried because at the 20-minute mark, GeForce LeBlanc was still not felt in the whole game. But during the 5v5s is where the poke of the LeBlanc was very, very important. And especially at that Baron fight, they baited out Holo's flash. Holo wasn't able to get near. And after that, HKA just sort of started plummeting down.
Yeah. And they were really hoping, they're hoping that this Aphelios can, come online 200 years. But you also have to deal with the fact that Rocky, even though he wasn't able to dominate his lane, he was still becoming a split push menace and also able to at least find his targets with his Cyclone on that Wukong.
Yeah, the ward placements. I mean, HKA was very diligent when it came to removing any sort of vision for possible Cyclone flanks. But that one ward in the mid lane just really ruined HKA's day. And it's just one of those things that happen. And well played by Nova Esports.
Well, that's the secret, all right? If you're trying to hide the wards away, put them in the most illogical place, right in the middle of the lane.
In the most obvious place.
What could possibly go wrong? Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the replays as well as the post-game stats here, as this was, of course, the Infernal Soul point being taken by Nova.
Yeah, it was very, very well placed because at the time of when it was about to go down, Nova pulled the trigger. The timing was perfect, and with that said, everything just fell through. And for Nova, even though a lot of the members died, even though Eminem was absolutely crazy in that fight, they still got that Infernal Soul.
And MVP gonna go on over to Ryan in the jungle for Nova. Actually, he ended up sealing 2 dragons that game, and was able to take that one home away from Holo.
Yeah, a job well done. Having to create pressure either sometimes on top side, sometimes on bot side as well, and securing objectives off of the map. And again, I really love this particular game for Nova because they didn't seem unfazed. They were very calm. They played to just... it's like no one got picked off of the side lanes. G4 was still stable in the mid lane despite, the constant pressure from Moon Black, at least on that 1v1. And I am liking the improvements, and so far there's a lot of upsets still going on for PCS for week 3.
Yeah, there's still a lot of opportunities for some of these, bottom ranking squads to kind of climb back up in the standings. So congratulations over to Nova. They're able to pick up the 2-0 when it comes to their first day of week 3. I think they're going to be pretty happy. Of course, though, coming up after the break, we have ourselves another good old battle. Alpha will be playing their second game, and we'll see whether or not they can try and turn around their day, their start to week 3, as they take on the side of the Dire Dragons, who are also trying to find their way out of that one-win club at the bottom of the standings, which, yeah, that's starting to feel a little bit lonely there for Resurgence and Liab, and teams are able to keep escaping. We'll go ahead and take a short break. We'll come back, though. More action from the PCS.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.